Size does matter, especially in wrestling. Some of the tallest humans in the world are wrestlers. However, companies like WWE and other wrestling organizations have exaggerated wrestlers' heights and have used tricks to make them appear bigger. For example, WWE would put lifts in the bottom of some wrestlers' boots to give them an extra inch or two of height. This is how WWE was able to say Kane was 7 feet tall, when in actuality, he was much shorter.
Let me just get some basic stats. How tall are you? I'm about 6'8".
Additionally, wrestlers do usually get shorter as they get older, especially if they have knee surgeries. With all this in mind, we dug through the data and compiled a list of the real tallest wrestlers of all time. Number 20 and number 19 are Big Cass and Commander Aziz. Both of these WWE wrestlers are big dudes, staying at 6 feet 9 inches. Now you might say, this can't be true. After all, whenever Big Cass would make his entrance, Enzo Amore would say,
"And this right here, this is Big Cass, and he's 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that."
However, during an interview, Big Cass would reveal his actual height.
What's your shoot height?
Shoot height 6'9".
Okay.
Commander Aziz also stands at 6'9", and we can confirm this thanks to his football stats from before he joined WWE. You're probably familiar with the 18th tallest wrestler, but maybe not the 17th. Kevin Nash and Matt Morgan both stood at 6 feet 10 inches. Now Nash has lost some height due to the surgeries he's undergone, but in his prime, Big Sexy was just 2 inches away from being 7 feet. This made the claim of him being a 7-footer pretty believable. Matt Morgan briefly wrestled in WWE in the 2000s, but is probably best known for his time in TNA. The blueprint nearly stood eye to eye with the Big Show, and his basketball stats from before WWE show that he was indeed 6'10". Next up on our list is number 16, Kurgan. The Giant wrestler debuted in WWE in 1997 as a member of the Truth Commission. However, Kurgan had his biggest success as a member of the Oddities. Unfortunately, his WWE career was short-lived, ending in 1999. It's a shame because Kurgan was legit 6 feet 11 inches tall. While his wrestling career ended abruptly, Kurgan has found success as an actor, appearing in films like Deadpool 2. Moving on to the 15th and 14th tallest wrestlers, we now enter the 7-foot zone. Both former WWE wrestlers Eli Cottonwood and Jackson Andrews stood at 7 feet tall. This is confirmed by their stats from when they played basketball. Cottonwood is best known for being a rookie on NXT Season 2 in 2010, where he was mentored by John Morrison. Jackson Andrews is even more obscure. He debuted in December 2010 as Tyson Kidd's bodyguard. However, he never got to have a match. 3 weeks after his debut, Jackson got a World's Strongest Slam from Mark Henry and was never seen again. Despite this, both he and Eli Cottonwood will go down as two of the tallest wrestlers of all time. Next, numbers 13, 12, 11, and 10 are all the same height, 7 foot 1 inch. These wrestlers are the Big Show, the Great Khali, Shanky, and Andre the Giant. Now, Big Show's height has been questioned, but I feel confident saying that, at his prime, the world's largest athlete was 7 foot 1. While in college, Big Show is listed at this height, and it's reasonable to say he was still this tall when he debuted in WCW. Now, as Big Show put on weight and underwent surgery, his height went down a bit. This is why Great Khali is a bit taller than Big Show when they stared each other down in 2008. Of course, Khali has also gotten shorter as he's aged and isn't nearly as tall as he once was. On the topic of Khali though, his student, Shanky, is one of the tallest people on the WWE roster right now. Shanky's height is the same as Khali's, and seeing how close he gets to another giant wrestler, Omos, it pretty much confirms it. While these wrestlers are famous, none compare to Andre the Giant. Andre is an icon, both in wrestling and outside of it, but his height has always been questioned. Some would claim he was 7 foot 4 inches, but that isn't accurate. A book released in 2020 called The True Story of Andre the Giant got a hold of Andre's passport, which had his official height. It said Andre was 2 meters 18, or just a little over 7 feet 1 inch. Now, it should be noted this is how tall Andre was in his prime. Later in his career, Andre got shorter, mainly due to his health deteriorating. However, there is a photo of Andre standing next to 7 foot 1 basketball player Wilt Chamberlain in 1984, and the Giant is almost the exact same height. Now, who could be taller than the Big Show, the Great Khali, and Andre the Giant? Well, it's number 9, 8, 7, and 6. Ron Reese, Giant Zanjeer, Raja Lion, and Giant Silva. All these men stood at 7 foot 2 inches in their prime. Keyword being prime. Ron Reese is best known for his time in WCW when he debuted as the Yeti. Reese shared the ring with Big Show at the 1995 Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, where you could see that the Yeti stood an inch taller than the Giant. More More recently, an Indian wrestler named Giant Zanjeer joined WWE at around the same time as Shanky. Unfortunately, Zanjeer was released the same year he debuted. While it was a short career, it wasn't nearly as short as Raja Lion. This guy also stood at 7'2", and while his height was impressive, his wrestling skills were not. Not surprising, Raja Lion only wrestled one match, but regardless, he goes down as one of the tallest wrestlers ever. Another man who shares that title is Giant Silva. He's best known for his time in WWE as part of the Oddities, but sadly, his career was pretty short and he didn't wrestle many matches. Still, he's one of the biggest men to ever step into the ring, which can be seen from this show that Silva and the Great Khali appeared on. Giant Silva definitely earned his name because he was taller than Khali by an inch. Up next is the 5th tallest wrestler of all time, and his name is Omos. This guy debuted in WWE in 2020, and he's already started to make a name for himself. Like many giants, Omos started as a basketball player before transitioning to wrestling. WWE says he's 7 feet 3 inches tall, and they aren't lying. Omos's basketball stats back this up. The man even makes other wrestlers like Braun Strowman look kind of small. Surprisingly though, there have been even taller wrestlers than Omos. Much taller. The first is number 4 on our list, Silo Sam. In the 1980s, WWE had Andre the Giant. Their rival, the AWA, wanted to beat WWE by having an even bigger wrestler, so they brought in a man named Silo Sam. Unfortunately, he wasn't a very good wrestler, but he was definitely tall. While he was announced as being 7 feet 7 inches tall, this number was off by a little. In reality, Silo Sam was 7 feet 4 inches tall, which is still very impressive. However, not as impressive as the 3rd and 2nd tallest wrestlers in history, Paul Bunyan and Giant Gonzalez. These two men were unreal. Giant Gonzalez is most famous for his rivalry with The Undertaker in 1993. The fact that he made the dead man look short demonstrates just how big he was. Paul Bunyan, aka Max Palmer, isn't as well known, since he mainly wrestled in the 1950s. In fact, very few pictures and videos of this giant exist. Both Giant Gonzalez and Paul Bunyan had their heights exaggerated, with some saying they were 8 feet or even taller. In reality, they stood at 7 feet 7 inches in their prime, which is still crazy, but not as crazy as the tallest wrestler of all time. Number 1 is the Willabunch Giant. Born in 1881 in Willabunch, Saskatchewan, Edward Beaupre was not only the tallest wrestler ever, but one of the tallest humans ever. He became an attraction and would use his size in the wrestling ring under the name the Willabunch Giant. Sadly, he passed away at the age of 23 in 1904 due to tuberculosis. While the Willabunch Giant's height has been argued, sources have said that at his death, he measured at an astonishing 8 feet and 3 inches. To put that in perspective, here's how tall Hornswoggle would stand next to the Willabunch Giant. Did you know the Great Khali and Big Show once got into a real fight backstage? To find out who won, watch the video on screen.